Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. First of all, thank you so much for the incredible welcome you gave me after the launch of AndyPii. Reading your comments has been truly motivating. Today I'd like to answer one of the questions I receive most often on Blossom. Andy, am I too young to start investing? And almost immediately afterwards, I received the exact opposite question. Andy, is it too late for me? I find that fascinating because whether you're 20, 40, or 60, you're really asking yourself the same question. Is now the right time to start? If I could go back in time and talk to the 16-year-old version of myself, I think I'd only tell him one thing: start earlier. But if I met someone who's 60 years old today, I'd tell them exactly the same thing: start today. Because when it comes to investing, the best time to start may have been yesterday, but the second best time is today. People are often surprised when I tell them that my interest in investing didn't begin when I retired. It actually started when I was 18 years old. At 16, every month I would receive a yellow workbook in the mail. Inside, I was learning about the Dow Jones, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and how the stock market worked. I couldn't wait for the next lesson to arrive. The more I learned, the more fascinated I became. At the legal age, I started investing, opening a brokerage account. But there was something else I discovered. The more I learned about the financial industry, the more I realized it wasn't the career I wanted. Not because I didn't love investing, quite the opposite. I loved investing so much that I didn't want my success to be measured by how many mutual funds I could sell. I wanted it to be measured by how many people I could genuinely help understand investing. And today, that's exactly why this channel exists. When I was 16, I wasn't investing yet. In Canada, I had to wait until I was 18 before I could open my own brokerage account. But that didn't stop me from learning. Those 2 years gave me something incredibly valuable: time to learn, time to ask questions, time to make mistakes, on paper, instead of with real money. And honestly, I think that probably saved me a lot of money. It also gave me time to understand that investing wasn't gambling. It was a skill that could be learned. Then, when I finally turned 18, I was able to open my first brokerage account. Looking back today, I realized something important. Starting to learn early can be almost as valuable as starting to invest early. Because confidence doesn't come from guessing, it comes from understanding. One of the most powerful concepts in investing is compound growth. Historically, the S&P 500 has returned about 10% per year on average over very long periods like 100 years, and even 11% in the 40 last years. Some years are exceptional, some are negative, and past performance never guarantees future results. Now imagine you invest $1,000. Let's say you buy 20 shares at $50 each. If your investment grows by 10%, your portfolio earns $100. If those shares are still worth around $50, you can now buy 2 more shares. Now imagine your portfolio has grown to $10,000. The exact same 10% now becomes $1,000. You can buy about 20 more shares. And one day, if your portfolio reaches $100,000, the same 10% becomes $10,000. Notice something: the percentage never changed. It's still 10%. What changed is the size of your snowball. The more investments you own, the more they can potentially generate. And the more they generate, the more you can reinvest. That's the snowball effect. That's the power of compound growth. There is a quote that I absolutely love. It's not about market timing, it's about time in the market. Nobody knows what the stock market will do tomorrow. Nobody has a crystal ball. Even if I often make the joke on Blossom where you can call me at 1-800-CRYSTAL-BALL for $5 per minute, and I do tarots too. And unfortunately, none of us can travel back in time with tomorrow's lottery numbers like Marty McFly in Back to the Future. If investing were that easy, we'd all be billionaires. But history has taught us something incredibly important. Giving your investments time has often been one of the greatest advantages an investor can have. Who hasn't dreamed of buying Apple, Microsoft, Meta, or Nvidia when they were just getting started? Looking back, it always seems obvious. Looking forward, it's never that simple. Now, take a look at the S&P 500 chart over the last several decades. Today, we happen to be standing on the far right side of that chart. Will the market be higher in 20 years? Nobody knows for certain, but history has shown that patient investors who stayed invested over long periods have often been rewarded. That's why I believe starting matters, being consistent matters, and giving your investments time to grow may be one of the greatest advantages you'll ever have as an investor, because the only thing we can never get back is time. So if there's one message I'd like you to remember from today's episode, it's this: don't wait for the perfect moment. Start when you're ready, keep learning, and continue investing by educating yourself. So, what does all of this mean? It means that learning early is valuable, starting early is valuable, and giving your investments time to grow may become one of your greatest advantages. But then, another question naturally comes up. Andy, that's great, but where do I actually start? Let's imagine you're 22 years old. You've just graduated. You landed your very first full-time job. You finally have a little money left at the end of the month. You want to start investing, but you have absolutely no idea where to begin. Believe it or not, that's exactly the message I received a few days ago. Oh, that might actually be him. Let's see what Max has to say. Before we wrap up, thank you for spending this time with me. I sincerely hope this episode helped you learn something new, because that's exactly the mission of this channel. In the next episode, we'll continue exploring the world of investing together, one strategy at a time. If you enjoyed this video, I think you already know what to do: the famous like button. If you'd like to know when the next episode is released, feel free to subscribe and turn on the notification bell if you haven't already. And if you'd like to follow my investing journey, you can also find me on Blossom Social Investing. I post daily the dividend announcements of several ETFs providers for weekly payers, monthly payers, and more. And I inform you about the new ETFs launching. You'll find a free link in the description below. I'd also like to mention that I'm simply one of the thousands Blossom shareholders using the Blossom platform. The opinions expressed on this channel are entirely my own and do not represent Blossom Social Investing. Thank you again, and until next time, keep investing by learning. Stay safe, and even on cloudy days, the sun is still up there, and you will see it again when the clouds clear. And don't forget that even the longest journey begins with the first step. See you soon.